Hello friends, Axel here. Welcome to another installment of insert game here on deck. I would just call this series on deck, but like I think that's also the same name as like the Twitter account of Steam Deck stuff, but yeah, this game on deck. Today we're doing Cyberpunk 2077. So I just recently finished, well, sort of finished, got one of the endings, the star ending with this. At some point I'll get around to doing more of them probably, but yeah, been playing this game a lot over the past couple weeks and it's been a very good time, but probably gonna take a break from it for a bit after this video. Anyway, Cyberpunk, for the most part, it is a deck verified game, plays mostly pretty well. I have the frame rate capped to, well, I can't really demonstrate here, but when I'm playing handheld mode on deck, this is not handheld right now, this is being recorded through a capture card. Normally, I have it capped to 45, since that's half of the 90 hertz refresh rate of the deck, and that works pretty well, though the game does not consistently stay at 45. Settings are... Let's go to graphic settings here. So it's slightly tweaked from the Steam Deck preset. I swapped FSR over to FSR 3. It goes to FSR 2.1 by default. Most of the other stuff's the same. Crowd density is low. FOV I bumped up to 90. That's at 80 by default. Turned off motion blur and a lot of this other stuff. And then I think I left basically most of this stuff the same as the Steam Deck preset. I don't really remember though. Also when playing in handheld mode, I do have HDR turned on, which I wish I could demonstrate here because it does look pretty good with HDR on. And what else do we change? Right, if you're playing in handheld mode, I also definitely recommend having larger HUD elements and larger fonts enabled, otherwise it's kind of hard to read some stuff. For the most part, a lot of the other settings. I do also have aim assist turned off because, we're on Steam Deck. We have gyro available, and I'd rather do that than relying on aim assist, so I do. And then, yeah, other than that stuff, a lot of the other settings are just personal preference, like I turn off the damage numbers and overhead damage numbers and stuff. But, yeah. Main thing I recommend is the larger HUD elements and larger fonts. Everything else is to taste, of course. So anyway, as we get into game, one of the first things I do want to mention, despite this game being Steam Deck verified, there is one major glaring issue I've run into. Now, I'm not sure if it's something that happens on a vanilla SteamOS Steam Deck, because I have mine running a Bazite adjacent image, so not quite Bazite, but basically Bazite. And you'll notice as I walk up to the control panel here, the elevator, or the cursor for it, isn't there. Just does not show up. The only workarounds, the only reliable workaround I have for this, open the Steam overlay, close the Steam overlay. There it is again. As soon as you move off of that though, it's not going to come back. So basically, you need to look at the thing, open and close Steam overlay. There you go, you can use the elevators. Unfortunately, panels like this are very common throughout the game. And oftentimes you'll have missions where NPCs are going with you into elevators, and it's like, they make you push the button. Very rarely will they push it for you. So, that's the biggest issue that I've had with the game. Another way to get around it is if you do remote play, if you're running the game off of another computer. It works totally fine that way. So, I don't know if the bug is like because of Steam input or what, but yeah, that's the biggest issue that I've had playing this game on Steam Deck. Other than that, even though it is a pretty significant issue because it's 100% consistent, other than that, the game plays well. Like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't consistently hit 45, like in more densely populated areas especially, but for the most part, it does work pretty well. So as for what I have for my control scheme here, like with Final Fantasy XIV, Cyberpunk 2077 does have excellent gamepad support, and fortunately, it also handles mixed input very well. So as mentioned when I was going through the settings, I do also use gyro, because I don't care for aim assist, because why should we go for aim assist when we can use gyro aim? unless you really just prefer aim assist. I'm not going to judge. It's a single player game, whatever, do what you want. Anyway, let's start with the back button since that's simplest. So R4, which is your upper right button, that is bound to X because that's your general, like, interact button and whatnot. So as you're going around, like, opening doors and stuff, getting into vehicles, you can just hit the back button there to not take your thumb off the right stick. Then the bottom two rear buttons are set to stick clicks, because I just kind of like... I prefer just having separate buttons for stick click stuff generally, rather than actually clicking the sticks. But, you know, you can bind those to whatever you want. But it's especially nice when I'm trying to run, because clicking in the left stick, like, it's fine, but I feel like on the Steam Deck, actually clicking in the sticks is just a bit too... Oh god! I forgot that opens the, photo mode. So yeah, clicking in the sticks on the Steam Deck, it's a little heavy, so just in general, having back buttons bound to those, I prefer doing that, but, you know, do what you like. And then as for L4, which is the upper of the left back buttons, I have that set to A, which is your jump. Another way I've had it set before was B, which would be your dash. I'm not sure which I like better. I kind of like being able to look while, like, to be able to jump while not taking my thumb off of the camera control. Just because, you know, it's kind of nicer for when if you want to, like, quickly do precise jumps and stuff. So, again, it's up to preference, of course. I think I prefer having it to jump, but you can set it to dodge. Anyway, that's our back buttons, so let's talk the trackpads. I've found that I tend to neglect the left trackpad, and I kind of just leave it as to whatever template I'm using has it already as, so in most cases, most gamepad layouts just keep it as the same mapping as your actual D-pad, so left pad is just normal D-pad. The right pad, I also have as like an extra D-pad because it can be nice at times, like if I'm running around doing something. It's less of an issue with one of the cyberware things I have now, but like healing, that's up on the D-pad. Maybe you want to be moving while also being able to heal, so then you can just do that with the right trackpad quite easily. Or if you're walking and you want to answer the phone or something, you can just do that too. But, you know, that's not super necessary, can be kind of nice, but alternatively, maybe you want to just use the right trackpad as a mouse instead. You can, of course, also do that by just changing it to mouse. I think 250 is a bit low. I do leave the mouse sensitivity options in game to default. Let me try 400, because like 250 was a bit too low. Yeah, I mean 400's okay. I found that in general in this game, I actually kind of just prefer using the right stick for the broader movements. I thought about doing flick stick, but I think I actually just kind of prefer having it as a normal joystick input. And then, of course, gyro for precision moments. You'll see that in the gameplay demo coming at the end of the video. But yeah, so thumbstick for the broader movements and then gyro for precision. If you like, you can also use the trackpad as just a mouse, and maybe you'll prefer that, maybe not. I think I'm going to keep mine as an extra D-pad, though. So now with all the rest of that out of the way, let's get to the gyro. So, I have gyro set to gyro-to-mouse, and you'll notice here we have sensitivity and dots per 360. If you don't know what the dots per 360 setting is, it basically relates to what I think is called like the natural sensitivity scale. So the dots per 360, that is basically if your sensitivity is at 1x, the dots per 360, once you have that calibrated correctly, a 360 degree turn of the device would also correspond to a 360 degree turn of the camera in game. So in this situation, I just calibrated it myself because one thing you can do in Steam Input, you can bind a button to turn camera 360 degrees. And then you just kind of find a spot that has like very obvious point where you'd be able to tell. So like in this case, you don't have like a weapon outside the crosshair. And then you would just press whatever button you bind the two and it'd spin around, and then you'd eventually fine-tune the dots for 360. There is also a website called mousesensitivity.com. I'll link that in the description below. For most games, you can just grab a number from that. So you can either calibrate it yourself, or you can go to mousesensitivity.com, and that'll give you your dots for 360. And then once this is calibrated, theoretically, whatever sensitivity you set the gyro to here, you can just have that consistent across multiple different games. So like your 4x in one game should feel the same as your 4x in another game. So that's how that works. So in my case, I have it set to 4x here. Sometimes I go higher in some games. I've found that 4x works pretty well in Cyberpunk though. And yeah, that's calibrated gyro. One other thing to mention, sometimes when you close out of the Steam overlay, your gyro doesn't want to activate for some reason. That's been a Steam input quirk for some time. But yeah, just open and close it again, and then you have your gyro back, and you're fine. Anyway, I think that's about it for my controller settings, so we're going to hop over to the gameplay demo in just a bit, but that's going to be it for the talking portion of this. So, if you guys like this, want to see more, make sure to let me know in the comments below. If you have any interesting settings that you'd like to share for what you might do for Cyberpunk, also let me know that in the comments below. And if you have any other games specifically that you'd want me to do for the next video of this, let me know in the comments below, because I have no idea what I'm doing next. Anyway, till next time, this has been Axel. Thank you guys for watching, and enjoy the gameplay demo. I am far from an expert at shooting games and stuff, but yeah. Enjoy. Take care, friends. And goodbye.
Hey, a little bit ago, a tiger claw called for help, attacked by a certain Aki. At least that's what they call the rogue tiger hunter. He's been picking off his own in silent but spectacular fashion. My gut says this Aki had a psychotic break. Don't kill him if you don't have to, and don't forget to watch your back.
The hell is this?